Hi guys, it's Oracle Anie, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you something that I had shared as an Instagram live at the beginning of January 2023, shortly after I had this experience. And had I not thought to bring this here to YouTube to share with you, I would have completely forgotten that it happened. So on one hand, it was very amusing for me to hear the story again and to remember the feelings of it happening. But other than that, I had completely put it out of my head, Here is some background information that I think will help you understand the story a little bit better than if I just posted the Instagram live, for you like that. Ever since I finished mediumship training, I have been crossing spirits over. Sometimes spirits don't want to cross over, either because they're too attached to the people they left behind, or they're too attached to their life as they knew it, right? Sometimes they're afraid of going into the light. Sometimes they're afraid of what's on the other side. And sometimes they just need to close out a situation before they feel like they have the closure to move on. When it comes to the topic of good spirits and bad spirits, anyone that says to me, especially another medium, and I do know that this is a belief of some mediums, is that they don't believe that bad spirits exist or that they can hurt you. And to me, that now sounds like you're telling me that bad people don't exist. And I'm like, we know that they do. Even though they can be bad to different degrees, right? And so that's how I see it. I've been working with my mediumship abilities. I've had to learn how to protect myself, even though I was told that nothing could hurt me and that everything was fine, that I was going to be fine, and yeah, in the long run, I've been fine. But I've been better because I've learned how to protect myself. And in fact, I have a video of going into cemeteries without any concern for what could happen to me, without knowing anything about protection, and just having a negative experience. If you want to check out that video, I will link it in the description below. The reason I made it is as a cautionary tale, so it's there, right? Two of the benefits that I've received from learning how to protect myself is that, one, now I know I can read the intention of the spirit that's approaching me, right? I can tell, do I pay attention to them or do I not pay attention to them, or do I just help them cross over and be done with it, right? The other benefit of it is that because I've been able to distinguish who is who, I've have learned how to communicate with higher beings of light. And you'll see a lot of those videos here in my channel. So feel free to check them out if you're curious to what those messages sound like, okay? Well, it is because of all of those experiences, plus the training, plus helping my friends out with their scary situations, that I have built up my courage in order to act the way that I'm acting in this video that you're gonna see, right? And I want you to remember that I am a trained medium and that I don't think that you should try this on your own if you don't know what you're doing, because you really don't know what could happen. And that's what I want you to know. Thank you for listening to me, and now please enjoy the video. Bye. Okay, now I'm live. I have been talking to nothing. Okay, so I haven't been on in a while, and I kind of missed it. So I'm just gonna get going with the story. So last week, so like the first week of January, I had this spirit kind of just like come into my like energy, and I felt them like here. I felt them definitely on this side. They were like right here, and and I hadn't done any like spirit work because I took like when I took a break from Instagram and from everything, I took a break from them as well. And so I kind of just figured like, okay, this is probably just somebody that needs help crossing over. And so I went through my protocol to kind of see, you know, who is here. And sure enough, it was somebody who had recently passed, and they kept saying, I want to go back. I want to go back. And and I went through my protocol of telling them, so you're dead now, and like you still have your energetic bodies, but you no longer have a physical body. So I'm just gonna get to work, and I'm gonna do my like if there were any other spirits that needed crossing over, which there were, like I'm just gonna do that work, right? And so I did the work. I felt a lot of other spirits crossing over, but this one stayed right here, kind of like an octopus, and it was like burrowing into my ear, and it was very uncomfortable, very, very, very uncomfortable. And so then I just went into like talking to my guides about, you know, what to do or what's going on in this scenario. And the interesting thing that came up for me was that I had made a post the week before about being the light, right? And like staying in that light. And like when you're a medium, even if you're, no matter what state of your life or like what's going on, there's always a light, like you're always lighter, especially for spirits. So they're always going to come find you because like you are a light. And so, you know, when people die and they say, oh, we just go into the light, and they see a person with like light energy body, they might confuse you for that light that they're supposed to go to, right? And so it's a fun fact about being a medium. So this spirit specifically was not okay with being dead. They had come to me as the light, not as a mistake, but as a way to get out of crossing over, because I did my work and it didn't cross over. It didn't want to cross over. It wanted to come back. And I basically told it, I was like, I do not have the power to bring you back. Like, it's not up to me if you get another physical body or whatever, but like what I was sensing from this whole situation and like talking to my guides about it was that, well, what they said was like, oh, this person was incredibly materialistic. And I got the sense that they didn't think that there was another side. They didn't think that there could be life after death. And so when I get a lot of symbols about somebody being like too materialistic, they kind of have this attitude of like when they're living, they have this attitude of like, I might as well do everything I want to do because nothing matters after this life. And sometimes that can take you down a negative path and you end up doing things that you shouldn't be doing. And then you end up surrounded by people you shouldn't be surrounding yourself with, like bad influences, toxic friends, and all that sort of stuff. And so now this spirit was too scared to cross over because they knew that they were probably going to hell. And, you know, if you read any of the occult science book, right, hell is just a state of mind, right? And what does that mean? That means that, like, essentially, whatever you thought was on the other side, or whatever karma you've built up in your mind, this is all in your mind. Whatever that is, when you cross over, now you have to face all of those thoughts and all of those like things that you've done. And they're no longer thoughts, now they're animated as like astral beings. And so it's also why the devil card in the tarot deck, let me just take it from my deck here. That's why the devil card in the tarot deck signifies the illusion of materialism, and that, you know, to believe that we only have this physical reality, that is the illusion, right? And so when I was talking to my guys, I'm like, well, what else can I do about this spirit, because they won't cross over. So here is the devil card. It's all an illusion, really. It's kind of funny how in this deck it has like a face on the stomach. But anyway, so so what they basically told me was, you know, create your protection barrier, and they're gonna leave. They will leave, right? And I did call on an archangel to help me with the transition for them, because obviously, like if you know that you're going to hell because of whatever it is that you did, because you didn't think there was anything on the other side and none of that mattered, like your imagination is just going to make it worse, like whatever's waiting for you there. So so I asked the archangel to come help me with the transition for the spirit, since obviously I wasn't doing it myself. And then my spirit guide said, you know, like it's going to happen. So in the meantime, just create your kind of like protection bubble and just wait it out, right? And so I waited out, and the whole process was like 6 hours long, which is not bad, honestly. And then it was gone. But before, here's the funny thing. When it showed up and I was trying to do my protocol to like cross them over, I asked it if it had a message. And it was like, yes. Okay, so then I went into communication with it, and it wanted me to be angry. And I've had that request from, by the way, it was like a female spirit. It wanted me to be angry. And I've had that request from spirits in the past. And I used to do it, right? Like I used to, like, whatever energy you need me to be, I will do it. But recent, like in the last few, I guess months, like I stopped doing it because like I've healed a lot of my anger, and I have no like desire or pull to really go into anger again. And definitely not for a spirit who is just feeling like, I need you to be angry because I don't have a body to feel it with. That's just not true, because you still have an astral body and you still feel those emotions. And so like I pretended to be angry and started like banging on the table, like fuck, like F you, you know? And I just thought it was like so funny, because I was just pretending to be angry, and I was like, is that what you want, you know? And it was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, whatever, you know? Like I wasn't really being angry, I was just like pretending, and it just made me laugh. And then laughter is like higher energy, like lighter energy, so higher vibration energy. So so that was interesting. So then as I'm, I create my protective barrier, and I still feel it. It's not in my face anymore. Now it's like, let's say like 3, maybe 4 feet away at this point. And I'm trying to cook dinner, and it said something like, can you get me some chocolate? And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get you some chocolate. And it pushed me, into the corner of the wall. So like I would just like I hit my shoulder, and I was like, you know what? That's why you're going to hell. So I know this sounds like fucking ridiculous, really. But just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. And for somebody that can feel, sense them, hear them, see them, it's a little too real sometimes. Hello. So I think that's all I have to say for this story. I didn't get any questions from anybody. I don't know if there are any questions now.